Today on Running to Him.
Job recognized God's sovereignty, and that explanation was good enough. He knew God was good, and on that he relied. Today we'll read Job chapters 1 and 2 and concentrate on verses 18 through 20 of chapter 1. Job 1, 18 through 22 says this: While he was speaking, another also came and said, Your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. And behold, a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck the four corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they died, and I alone have escaped to tell you. And then Job rose and tore his robe and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and he worshipped. He said, Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Through all this, Job did not sin, nor did he blame God. Well, most of us have heard about Job's story, and sometimes we may feel that story or one like it as a part of our own lives. But Job's story happens to all of us. There isn't a person who has lived where tragedy hasn't struck home at some point or another. Gregory the Great, who lived from 540 to 604, writes, Sometimes, while the mind is sustained with the fullness and richness of a large gift, if it enjoys uninterrupted security in these things, it forgets the source from which they have come. It imagines that it derives these things from itself in a way that never ceases. Hence, this same grace sometimes withdraws itself for our good and shows the presumptuousness of our mind and how weak it is. For then, we really learn the source from which our good qualities proceed. Only by seemingly losing them are we made aware that they can never be preserved by our own efforts. And so, for the purpose of tutoring us in lessons of humility, it very often happens that when a crisis of temptation is upon us, such extreme folly comes down upon our wisdom. Then, the mind being dismayed, it does not grasp how to meet the evils that threaten or how to guard against temptation. But this very foolishness wisely instructs the heart, for whatever causes the mind to turn to foolishness for a moment is afterwards faced as reality. As the mind becomes more humble, it becomes wiser. In this way, the very wisdom that seems to be lost temporarily is now held more secure as a possession. That's a commentary on the book of Morals and the book of Job. What should we do when disaster strikes? First, we should grieve. Job 1:20. We've experienced a loss, and our soul has been assailed with great grief. We cannot respond with anything but an emotional rush of sorrow. But another action is required for us to be relieved of those great emotions. Job worshipped God in his heart. He recognized that nothing is permanent. God gives and sometimes takes away. So we thank God for the blessings and we worship him. Now there's one final thought. In verse 22 it states, In all of this, Job did not sin by blaming God. Job didn't blame God for his loss. He recognized God's sovereignty, and that explanation was good enough. He knew God was good, and on that he relied.
Thank you for listening. We pray that today's devotion was meaningful to you. We would love to hear from you. You can use either Facebook or YouTube to like, subscribe, share, and tell others about us. If you would like to contact us, you can reach me at phineasjacobus@runningtohim.net.